Well, awesome. Well, let's get started, I guess. I am recording the session, of course, so it's part of the conversation is just to have it recorded. And I don't really know exactly what we're going to do with these sessions. It's really just we're looking for ways to get feedback from people who are really actually using MPulse in the real world, and find out kind of what's going on in your world and your business, and hear about your successes and your challenges, and honestly give you a chance maybe to interact with each other a little bit, because I know you have quite different businesses that you work in. So that's kind of where I wanted to start with it. I'm Randy. I'm the president of MPulse this year. Started as the president of MPulse in December of this year. So that was a nice promotion for me. I've been with MPulse, of course, for 25 years, 26 years now. I've been doing maintenance management software with MPulse in Eugene. So it has surprisingly become my life. It's not something I ever anticipated being my career, but it is what I do. So I thought we'd just start. Maybe you guys can introduce yourselves, and start with you, Cathy.
Okay, I work for Gulf Coast Authority in Houston, Texas, and I'm the reliability coordinator, which is in charge of the reliability program that's asset management for all our facilities. And we treat industrial wastewater. It's a kind of a regional concept that we use both municipal waste and industrial to help us treat the industrial wastewater. It's a not-for-profit organization, state agency that was formed before the Clean Water Act. So all of our work is a lot about compliance and keeping the waters of Texas clean.
Okay. So are you, as a wastewater treatment facility, are you dealing with just the facilities, or are you dealing with the lift stations and the pumps and everything related to?
Everything, all the pumps. Mine's more of the mechanical pumps, pipes, instruments.
Okay.
All the assets that run in the facility. So.
Okay, great. Brian, tell us a little bit about you.
I work for Brentwood Industries. It's in Martinsburg, West Virginia. We have facilities all throughout the states and international. We actually make, they're really a filter for not wastewater, but for cooling towers to cool the water down in nuclear plants, things of that nature. We also do stormwater filterization. Job here, I'm the maintenance inventory control. I purchase all maintenance parts, anything for our machines, and we do a lot of permit forming. I'm of course the MPulse admin for Brentwood.
And I know from our interactions, you have some pretty complex reporting requirements that we've been doing some custom reporting and building some complex labor management reports. So that's interesting to me that's such an important thing at your organization.
Oh yeah, big time. They're really down on me to be able to produce them reports. So yeah. Thanks for help.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get it all done exactly the way you want it. I know there's a couple of things we're still working on with that, but it's been an interesting set of reports that we've built for you. So I've enjoyed working on that project. Okay, all right, Cody. Well, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Cody Gilbert. I'm the facilities manager at the Downtown Athletic Club in Eugene, Oregon. I have been with the organization here for 17 years. The club itself was built in 1985. We're in a historical building. Building was built in 1910, but everything was pretty much gutted and redone in 85. I oversee everything facilities related. We try to do as much work in-house as we can. So me and one other guy is my current maintenance team. We've had one other guy in the past. We're trying to be a little bit more efficient since the changes we've had from the coronavirus.
Yeah, I bet.
So we've definitely been using MPulse to run a lot of reports to look at time it's taken us to do tasks in the past and analyze to see how we can make those things happen a lot more efficiently.
So I think it's interesting, Cody. You say that you work for you've managed a facility in an athletic club, and I think that might undersell it for some people because the club that you manage is huge. I mean, it's a big building, big facility, and it's very old. It's built in 1910. It's one of the older buildings in this area, right?
Yeah, we've got 100,000 square foot of space. We've got a conference center, we've got a restaurant, we've got state certified daycare, we've got indoor pools, athletic facility. We definitely have a lot under one roof here.
Well, great. This is a great mix of people. I know you guys probably don't have much cross-pollination, but it's a great mix of customer bases that we have with MPulse, where we've got a government agency who's managing wastewater, we've got a manufacturing representative and a facilities representative. It's kind of covering all the different types of maintenance that we do. So I think I was happy that the three of you agreed to this session, because it's a great mix of people and industries for this conversation. So. What I wanted to get to next is just to kind of hear a little bit about some of the challenges that you face in maintenance. Specifically, we're talking about how MPulse might have addressed those challenges or not addressed those challenges. But other things that you're facing as well would be very interesting to me. And I think maybe if we could just start off with, like, what is your biggest management issue? What is the biggest thing that you have to deal with? I know, Brian, we talked a little bit about hours, controlling and managing hours. Is there anything that sticks out for anybody?
I think getting the details in the work order for us, and so that they can use it for the next guy to work on something.
Collecting the details in the field? Yeah,
collecting details. Using the failure codes has been great, but trying to kind of standardize on what they're doing. And we got so many different mechanics, instrument, electrical guys using it. They all kind of do it a little differently, and being one person department puts down the details of it usually, and it doesn't always convey all the information you need. But I tell them, they're guys that are used to using tools or turning nuts and bolts and stuff, and they really rather not be down a computer. So that's a little bit of challenge. But now we're getting we have a lot of gray hairs that are leaving, and a lot of younger people are coming in, and they embrace the computer a little more. So that's
I have the same problem, Cathy. It's usually people not wanting to put the data into the MPulse, and you come in the mornings and you don't know what's the other shift's done or anything, and your guys are
right. Yeah. By the time they get back to the office, they want to put their feet up, take their shoes off, and not be filling out a report. So,
yeah. Do you have that as well, Cody? Do you guys go?
Yeah, we've definitely dealt with that some. The advice I've given to my guys is, getting them in the habit of inputting, at least getting the work order in while they're in the field. That way they don't have to wait till the end of the day, and then they're not sitting down and on the computer for an hour at a time. If they can, document that they're doing the work order when they do it, because a lot of times we do get work orders and we're out in the field, but a lot of times when we're out in the field, we recognize something else that needs done, and we take care of it while it's there. And we want that to be on our record and documented as well. So I have them using the mobile app to input the work order, and they just mark it as they input it. They mark it that it's completed already, so it doesn't get assigned to someone else because it's already been done. And then every time they come back to the shop, get supplies or get ready for the next job, they update all of their work orders and close them out. That way there's not an hour's time spent on the computer at the end of the day. And that seems to be a lot more consistent. I think we're capturing more of the work orders. Where prior to doing that, people would either forget, or at the end of the day, they just don't want to do that data entry, and so they don't put complete records in.
Tell me something that that I don't know if it keeps you awake at night, but that you certainly are thinking about after work or before work, or that's a common concern or worry that you've got as far as managing your teams. Or maybe you all sleep well. I don't know.
Well, I don't have a team to manage. That makes it a little bit difficult to enforce things.
Okay.
And a lot of each facility has their own maintenance supervisor, and those supervisors are probably not as skilled at using the computer as some of their workers are. and have to work through them. And to enforce it, they have to be the enforcer. And they report to operations and operations rules. So,
okay. So you have a very distributed environment where you're trying to implement.
Yeah, we have six different facilities, and some have more maintenance people than others, and a lot of them use contract labor, which becomes an issue of getting the documentation recorded in there. Somebody has to kind of do double duty on getting their report into our system.
Yeah, that adds a whole lot of complexity. I know, Brian, you have that with your organization too, where you've got multiple plants using MPulse kind of in different ways. It's kind of hard to get consistency.
We had a plant in Hope, Arkansas, and I think Martinsburg and Hope are probably using it more like the same way, but our Pennsylvania plants, I think a couple of them don't use it, and one of them is using it, but I think they use it a lot different.
Yeah. It's consistency is certainly a big issue when you've got different people trying to use it in different ways. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to add that you're thinking about on after work or when you're supposed to be putting your feet up?
Well, one thing I remind them on a regular basis, I go, this is a tool. I just keep telling them, this is a tool, just like your wrench. It's meant to be useful to you. If it's not useful to you, it's the only way we can justify replacing things in our world, really, because we have so much redundancy and compliance always gets the upper hand. And so to justify replacing an asset, I said, you got to have a lot of work orders on it to justify that, replacing it and get it changed. If you want to get it changed, start documenting it. I said, you can't document if you don't have the data to document it. We can't get it changed. So.
Yeah. My dad always used to say, you can't manage what you don't measure.
Right.
Cody, I think I cut you off.
Yeah, when I first took over this department, the facilities maintenance here at the DAC, my predecessors were doing nothing but reactive maintenance, and I recognized that as a problem early on, and that did keep me awake a lot at night because you never knew what was going to break and when it was going to break and how you were going to deal with it, and that stuff impacted our members as well. So it was important for us to get a handle on that, and so since we've gone to your guys' system, we are trying to do as much preventative maintenance and scheduled maintenance as we can. And because we're taking care of those assets before they break down, it minimizes the chances of that happening. So I don't have to come in and deal with stuff middle of the night as much as I used to, and it's been a huge help.
Good. Well, so then you are sleeping better. That's good. So without revealing anything or talking bad about your organization, where would you say that you're wasting the most resources? Or what area do you feel like could use improvement, or where you think you've got some things that you're dropping that you could fix, if any?
Well, here we're working on more breakdowns than we are PMs, and we're shorthanded in the area. It's kind of booming, and it's hard to get employees. We had a very large company come in, Procter & Gamble, you may know them, and they just consumed all of the employees that were available. So we're not able to get back. We got to get onto our PMs more, and not that these breakdowns so we don't have breakdowns.
I think we have such a small workforce and multiple responsibilities. And I think that's kind of our biggest issue is they're sidetracked on so many different things that nothing ever gets really finished the way it needs to be. And we're expanding, especially in the Houston area with petrochemical, the chemical companies are still booming in Houston, and we're adding customers right and left, so we're trying to increase capacity, and so we got construction going on all the time, and then they want maintenance to help them out with that, and a lot of it gets in the way getting done because fix it real quick and move on. So
Yeah.
it doesn't get the attention it needs.
Get it working. Don't worry about making it perfect.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if you look back and you think about kind of, I was looking back, all of you have been with MPulse for quite some time. So you may or may not have been there in the decision process before MPulse came to your organization. But if you remember, what were the drivers that brought you to looking for a management system like MPulse, if anybody recalls that?
Well, simple to use. So many management systems are very complex and so detailed that they don't even get them implemented. It takes them 6 or 7 years to get them implemented. And MPulse was really nice because it was very easy to implement and get started and start using. And it just wasn't as complicated as a lot of CMS systems are out there.
Well, it was in place about a year before I started, but
Okay.
just something to be able to keep track of because there was nothing. They didn't have any kind of maintenance system in place, so just to keep track of it.
Okay. Okay.
I was part of the decision.
Okay.
I think we've been with you guys for about a decade now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here for quite a while. Like I said, I came into it and everything was reactive, and that was causing some problems, as I mentioned. And so we started tracking everything through Excel sheets and carbon copy forms. And as you recognize the amount of work orders we're doing, it's hard to use those tools and be effective with it. So we started looking for an all-in-one system that we could schedule, track, and get a handle on that big mess.
Okay. Okay. Good. So I'm going to ask two questions that are going to be basically the two sides of the same question. So what was your biggest success if you look back on what you've done with MPulse? What's the thing that you're the most proud of? And then what was the hardest thing? What was the most difficult thing that you did through your time? Because you've all been using MPulse for over 5 years, but some 10 years. So give me your biggest success and maybe the thing that's the hardest, or was the hardest. Maybe you've solved it.
Well, I had a warehouseman over at one facility that was really dead set against it. The last time they upgraded in 1999, they lost all the data that they had before, and I went and spent a lot of time at the facility, and they wanted to use all their old data, and I said it's not good data, and they wanted to keep it. And I said they wanted all their cost of maintenance. I'm going, it's not accurate. And the facility manager was like, no, we want to keep it in there. And I go, okay. So we put it in there. But I worked with him specifically on scheduled maintenance records and for a long time. And he'd be the first one to go, something's wrong, but he hardly ever comes up with anything that is a problem with it. So that was really a great success for me, I think, is to get him on board and not complain about a thing, which was really nice.
So that was both the hardest part and your biggest success.
Yeah.
Good thing. I see. Okay, that works for me. Brian, Cody?
I guess the biggest success for me actually was just getting all the SMRs and all the assets in place for the plant. Because when I started, they didn't have very many at all. Like I said, it was new here, so that was the biggest thing.
Just getting your scheduled maintenance system set up and getting the assets identified. Okay.
Like Cody said, getting away from Excel spreadsheets for things they needed to do.
Okay. And do you feel like you've succeeded in that, or is it still kind of an ongoing thing?
I think it'll always be ongoing, but yeah, we've got most everything on a preventive maintenance program now.
Okay. Good. Okay, Cody?
Yeah, I think our biggest success is, we're averaging over 50% of our work orders as the scheduled maintenance requests. So I think that's a huge accomplishment, and I'd like to see that number go up even more. but I think that's a good accomplishment. I think our biggest challenge was the initial data entry, just because most of our stuff was not electronic before. So it was just taking the time to think about the things and getting them into the system, getting all the assets in there, thinking about how we want it set up. And you guys were great with that. And, we put as much as we could in initially, but we've just been continually building that system out and adapting and changing and adding more to it. It's a lot easier now that we do have a lot of stuff coming to us electronically. We did a big HVAC upgrade where we changed out 30 HVAC units, and our vendor created a spreadsheet for us with the names, the serial numbers, the data manufacturer, all of that. And we were able to just import that in with your guys' tool and replace the assets that were there. And it was a lot more efficient than it would be adding all that data.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I do want to wrap up just talking a little bit about, obviously there's a huge thing in our world right now with the COVID-19 pandemic that's affecting all of us, I'm sure. And then, so I'm curious about kind of what you see how that's going to impact your future as maintenance professionals. And then any other things that you see coming in your future, either in technologies or techniques or ideas or changes in business that you've identified that are going to be affecting you in the future. I know that's a broad question, so I'll give you a second to think about it.
The COVID really hadn't affected our business because we've been working straight through it. I don't know if it will down the road, but it hasn't yet. We've actually gotten busier. Of course, one of our facilities makes these. So they were given out to the VA centers and everything. So it's.
So have you had to implement different cleaning and disinfecting policies and things like that? And I noticed you had a mask.
Yeah, we have to wear a mask. During, I guess, last week we started to not have to have our temperatures taken in the mornings, or when people first got here. Everybody's, the 6 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot away from everybody, and shut our lunchrooms down, so nobody could be in the lunchroom other than to, use the vending machines, but not to sit beside each other and eat. So it's been a little different here, but really hadn't affected MPulse in any way.
Okay.
Brous.
Yeah, I have to agree. We have to wear masks. Most of anybody that can work from home is working from home. I got sent home, or we all got sent home yesterday to work from home again. We since May 1st, and then we had 2 cases break out at 2 different facilities, or one case at 2 facilities. So they asked everybody that they could stay home, but that we run 24/7. We never have shutdowns. So most everybody's out working in the open air that operate the facility. So as far as MPulse is concerned, it's helped that we have that ability to keep track of things remotely. So.
Okay. Cody, I'm sure it's had a huge impact on you working with the public.
Yeah, definitely. We had to close down for a little bit, the public. We used that time to do some upgrades and some, upkeep on the clubs that we knew falling behind on. So that was a little bit different. We tried to keep as many employees on as we could and working in that capacity. It was a little challenging trying to get people that aren't maintenance technicians and painters and turn them into maintenance technicians and painters. But we got a team, and it went well. We got a lot done in that aspect.
Okay, great. Well, is there anything I can do to make your jobs easier? Anything I need? I know Brian needs me to get his report done. I know that one.
Yeah.
Make my job easier is just to get maintenance guys to do the data entry.
Okay.
And I did notice something, is everybody on MPulse 9?
Yeah. Well, all but one facility.
Well, I really like it, Randy. It's made it a lot easier for the guys to do it, put their data in there because they don't have to go page to page. They can just scroll down. So
Good.
that's been a big benefit. The comments section, I'd like to see that at the very bottom too.
Okay.
The guys
Yeah.
will just click into comments and type in, and it won't put their name there because they don't go to the bottom where it says enter your comments and get the little error. So a lot of times I have to scroll down and look at see who put ours on the machine to try to guess who's putting the comments in.
Okay.
Other than that, it's working really well. I like MPulse 9 a lot better.
Okay, great. I think that's a great place to wrap up. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to add?
The support's been great. Even with COVID, it actually was even better, I thought. It's
Good.
prompt when it, yeah.
We've heard that multiple times. It's funny. It seems like working from home makes us better at answering the phone and dealing with. I don't know why, but yeah, we're all working from home. We're probably going to continue to do that for quite some time. So yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that, Cathy.
So you don't have your facility out there anymore?
No, we don't. No, we opted to.
What's Cathy do with all her dogs now?
She's gonna just have to keep them home, I guess. We closed the facility, and we're gonna be doing more probably regional training centers, and we're just once COVID opens up again, we're gonna have probably some new offerings for different services that will be in different areas instead of just in Eugene. So it's exciting, big changes in the world, right?
Yeah, and I heard you were talking about user conferences. When we open up again. So.
When we open up again, yeah, it's one of those things that we keep talking about it, and then I think, golly, could we put down a deposit on a place and say we're going to do this thing? I don't think I can justify that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we're hoping to be able to do something in early 2021 where we can bring together and do a bunch of different sessions. So
yeah, I found that it's nice to find out how other people are using it to expand your use of it. So.
Absolutely. Well, you guys will probably be the group that part of the group of people that I might tap to lead a session or give a presentation at a user conference. So put that in the back of your mind. I might reach out to you and ask you to help me out with that. So
okay.
Yeah, that is certainly on the roadmap for us in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. I'll let you get back to your day, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time. This has been great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.